Trees. So it's been a great week. We've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about the first 2 days. We talked about nutrition for weight management during lockdown. We talked about nutrition for immunity during lockdown, and then we talked about nutrition for your mental health as well during lockdown. And then yesterday we talked about supplements. Great conversation yesterday around supplements to help support you during lockdown. Okay, so let's just have a look and make sure that we're live on everything. As this is the last day, I want to make sure that we do document this. Okay, looks like we are live. We're live on everything. Okay. So today, I would like to talk about, first of all, we're going to bring it all together and round off the last day. But finally, by request of many people, I want to talk about snacks. Because in terms of lockdown, it seems like unanimously, the one thing that seems to be challenging and troubling a lot of people would be snacking. So we're going to talk about snacking. Let's just give it a couple more minutes and let people join in on the conversation. Any questions, please still feel free to DM them. I'll be more than happy to answer those, even if it's after the live. That's not a problem at all. I'm just going to give it another minute or two. And yeah, we can go live. Okay. Anybody with us? Anybody joining us? Anybody joining us for the last day of the lockdown health and well-being masterclass series? It's been a great couple of days. Hi, Lewis. I see you there. You missed out yesterday. You would have absolutely enjoyed what I was talking about yesterday. We're talking about supplements, and I did talk about supplements for guys who work out a lot, go gym, etc. But you can catch that back. I will run over that again. Right, so it's 4 minutes past. I'll give it one more minute, and then I'll crack on with today's session, as this is the last day of the lockdown health and well-being masterclass. For those who may have missed this, for the last few days, I've basically been sharing with everybody various hints and tips to help you with your lockdown health and well-being, basically. So for day one, we talked about nutrition and weight management for lockdown, because a lot of people put on quite a bit of weight in the last lockdown. And then we also talked about nutrition for mental health during lockdown. And then finally, we talked about nutrition for your immunity during lockdown. Regardless of that, the immunity one is going to be handy because we're coming into the winter season. And then yesterday, we talked about supplements for lockdown. So we talked about things like, for guys who like to work out a lot, we talked about creatine, we talked about caffeine, we talked about citrulline, the one that makes sure, it makes sure that blood is flowing to the tissues. And then we talked about BCAAs as well as glucosamine. We also talked about supplements for weight management. And this would have been including things like garcinia, Cambodia. We also talked about raspberry ketones. And then we talked about green coffee beans and also coconut oil for helping with that subcutaneous fat. And then I shared with you guys my top 3 supplements. We talked about how multivitamins aren't always necessarily the best thing because they are effectively a shot in the dark. However, I personally recommend your staples should be omega-3, not cod liver oil, omega-3 pure fish oil, for example, vitamin D drops, ideally. And then finally, a great probiotic will do wonders for your gut health. Remember, you look after your gut will look after you, because it's like your second brain. And we talked about protein powders, etc. And today, I just wanted to talk about snacks. Snacks was something that a lot of people wanted to really talk about, as apparently most people are struggling with snacking. Apparently, snacking is one of the biggest issues during lockdown because people are bored. So when people are bored, what do? They snack. Was pretty much the long and short of it in terms of the message that I got over the last few days. So I thought, let me talk about snacking. So what is a snack? By definition, I mean, for anybody who might be live, feel free to type along and tell me what a snack is to you. or at least share with me what an example of a snack is. Maybe even your favorite snack, if you like. So for most people, a snack by definition is something like a bag of crisps or chocolate or anything along those lines, right? That's usually what, I mean, let's use the example of a vending machine. You go to a vending machine, 9 times out of 10, that machine is full of chocolate, crisps, M&Ms, things like that. That's what by definition for most people a snack is. Now, a snack actually is something that should really tie you over till the next meal. It's not essential for everybody, but it would definitely help in terms of keeping satiety, keeping you, not feeling as hungry as you might. And for some people, snacking unfortunately becomes something to entertain them. These are the more, so there's appropriate reasons to snack and there's inappropriate reasons to snack. And for some people, you'll find that they're snacking purely because of boredom. Some people will be snacking maybe because of stress. Some people will snack because of feeling low, feeling depressed. Now, those are what would be classed as inappropriate reasons for snacking. Because really, when you think about it, okay, you might be feeling low, you find your way to the bottom of a Ben & Jerry's tub, but did you feel better after that? 9 times out of 10, you didn't. If anything, you created another problem for yourself then. So, yeah, that's an inappropriate reason to be snacking. However, there is appropriate reasons to snack, i.e. it can actually help to keep hunger at bay. It can also help to make sure that you're regulating and maintaining a good energy balance. Because usually what happens is when you're ravenously hungry and then you have your next meal, you will find that you probably end up having too much of a bigger portion than you might normally do. Usually, you find people having carbs. People will be probably overloading on the rice, the pastas, the breads. That's usually where people tend to go overboard. And also, snacking is really great in terms of, for some people, what I found is a lot of my clients and patients will report they get energy dips midday, so mid-morning even, and mid-afternoon. And snacking is a great way to deal with that because usually what happens is if you don't deal with that mid-morning dip or that mid-afternoon dip, you end up opting for a chocolate or a biscuit or something along those lines, which of course is not ideal. Nobody wants to be doing that. So that's where we can see quite clearly, especially when it comes to weight management, snacking can actually be a great tool to help you address satiety and make sure you keep going. So how many snacks are supposed to have a day? How many snacks are you supposed to have in a day? Please, anybody feel free to type. Give me your answers. See if anybody's actually joining us. Is anybody with us? See now, the answer to that is two snacks. That's all you're supposed to be having, 2 snacks a day. And I'll tell you why. You're supposed to have 2 because 1 between breakfast and lunch and 1 between lunch and dinner. Now, this isn't strictly speaking the gospel. This is generic advice for those who may be trying to lose weight. A snack, I must stress as well, is not necessary for everybody. It is not necessary for everybody. But it will definitely help in keeping more of a regular routine and pattern of yourself eating. So that's where it's a great benefit. And also, it will definitely help, as I said, to just keep that hunger at bay, make sure that your energy levels are absolutely balanced. Really great for that. Now, in terms of snacking, what's a healthy snack and what's not a healthy snack? I tend to prefer to look at it more as what's a favorable snack and what's an unfavorable snack. As Mr. said, we've defined what is a snack. A snack is something that's meant to just tie you over till the next meal. And it's ideal for helping in terms of making sure it keeps you fuller for longer and regulating your energy levels as well. Yep, you're doing great. Now, what snacks are healthy and what are not? 9 times out of 10, most snacks that you will find in a vending machine, not healthy. Just not healthy at all. Simple as. And most of the time, what you find is people struggle with snacks because they think a snack is healthy, but when you actually really look at the nutritional information, you'll find that it's absolutely not healthy at all. And this is where food label traffic light system actually does come in handy. It does in terms of just helping you understand. And the great one really in terms of food label reading would be the traffic light system. have a look out for the traffic light system. It's a great one because it's usually slap bang on there. And another thing as well, if you don't know how to read the food labels, or some foods don't actually have a food label in them, you can actually get the Change for Life food scanner. It's a really great one because it actually helps you read the food label. It tells you literally whether something is really high in fat, high in sugar, or high in salt. So I would highly recommend you download that if you need help in terms of reading or interpreting food labels, or you're looking at a snack but you're not sure whether it's a healthy snack or not. So it's called the Change for Life food scanner. It's a really, really great app, very visual, and I find that one, that's a really great one. And in terms of, we mentioned two snacks, right? So for some people that may not suffice. It also entirely depends on your energy levels. What do you do on a daily basis? I work out a lot, so therefore I will need just a little bit more, you see. Now, say for example, in terms of snacks, I'd like to recommend some swaps. Swaps are really great because you can still have what you want. I'll go back to the first day, nutrition for weight management we talked about on Monday. Planning is going to be key, remember we mentioned, and part of the planning is incorporating snacks into your list of shopping. So remember we talked about drawing a grid, breakfast, lunch, dinner, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as well as snacks. So you want to be knowing what snacks you should be having. Ideally, I recommend you have a great go-to of 5 to 10 snacks ready to go in the house. And if you know you don't have much self-discipline, don't have that in the house. It's really that simple. Don't have it in the house because then it's easy to get tempted. And then you want some more, don't you? So I would say make sure part of your planning, when you plan your weekly sort of food, you make sure that you incorporate a list of great go-to snacks for yourself. And then secondly, like I said, make sure you're sticking to your 2 snacks. Or if you work out, maybe you can have 3. It just depends. And also, it's up to you which way around you have them. It doesn't have to be between breakfast and lunch and dinner. For some people, if you don't get that mid-morning dip, what really works for them is to actually have that snack after dinner. So maybe they'll have a snack in between lunch and dinner, and then they'll have a snack after dinner. Or maybe they'll have the snack after breakfast, so about 10, 11, and then they're fine between lunch and dinner. But after dinner, they like a little treat, in the evening, your other half is having some nice chocolate or something, but you also want to just have something. Then you could shift your snack to that point as well. That's absolutely fine. Remember, this is about you. No one size fits all. So you have to find a routine that works for you, and you have to find a list of snacks that also work for you, basically. And in terms of swaps, I've got a few recommendations in terms of healthy swaps. So, for example, if you like crisps, then you could potentially swap those for something like unsalted popcorn. Or you can get real creative, actually, go old school, get yourself some popping kernels, tablespoon of olive oil in the pan, pop those in there, nice and fresh as well, and you made them yourself. If you like full fat cheddar cheese, for example, you could always go for maybe something like a cottage cheese, or maybe a low fat cheese. What I also recommend when it comes to cheese, any cheese lovers in the house? Any cheese lovers in the house? You could always opt for making a swap. So for example, go for maybe like a Parmesan, a nice, really strong cheese. And also what I recommend is you opt for the grater, in terms of your cheese grater, opt for the nutmeg side, because then what that does is it will make sure that, it comes out very thin. So you get the illusion of a very wide surface area covered, but you got the flavor there. So it's a win-win. So with cheese, make a swap for something much stronger, and then you can definitely scale that down in terms of size. That's a really great way of addressing that. And then for those who like your Cadbury's or your standard milk chocolate bar, I always recommend you swap that for a dark chocolate. Then you actually end up having less because it's got more of a bitter kick taste to it. And then if you like mayonnaise, again, in terms of a healthy swap, you could always go for maybe an avocado option or something like that instead. And then I've got some other examples here. So you could always go for like a boiled egg, for example. Boiled egg with a handful of spinach, drizzle some balsamic on there. That's great. That's a really good go-to snack. We've already mentioned popcorn. Any average piece of fruit works really well as a snack. Any average piece of fruit. And then what else? One really great go-to that I find works really well with a lot of my clients would be peanut butter, tablespoon of peanut butter, and then have half a apple sliced up into tiny bits, and then you can literally dip that. That works really great as a snack as well. And then rice cakes. Rice cakes are a really versatile snack because you could literally have, ideally go for the plain ones. You could have one rice cracker with cream cheese on top of it. You could have one rice cracker with very thin layer, of course. Don't go overboard. So you could have either cream cheese, you could have cottage cheese, you could have peanut butter or any nut butter for that fact. Tiny bit of jam, but I wouldn't really recommend that. Even say for example, low fat cream cheese with maybe a tiny bit of cucumber on top. That's another really great one. Hummus is a really great one, but you have to be careful that I know stores like Aldi, Lidl, etc. are really cost effective. They do like a three-tier type of hummus, so different flavors, three of them really small ones. You could have that, and then you could have any type of vegetable to dip with that. That works really well. Not a problem with that. Um, Even malt loaf bread that works really well as well. The little mini ones that works really great in terms of what you could also have as a snack. What else do we have? I think I had a list for you guys here, but it seems to have disappeared. Oops. Yeah, I think I gave you about five or so. And what you want to really remember, the main go-to points here are, snacks are meant to just tie you over. They're meant to just help in terms of your satiety. You want to be having ideally just two snacks only. Okay, two snacks a day. Because if you start going overboard, then it starts to become more like grazing. And as far as I'm aware, only cows and goats and sheep graze. And the last I checked, we are not animals. So yeah, I would say snacking is one that you want to watch. And what else? So it's two snacks, and ideally they want to be 150 calories or less. That's really where you want to be having your snacks, because like I said, anything over that starts to become a meal, and you really don't want that at all. Okay. And other than that, what else did I want to talk about today? Yeah, that's pretty much snacking for you guys there in a nutshell. I think the key is to just have some good snacks in the house. If it is really about boredom, have some good snacks. Whether it's boredom, stress, anything like that, the best way to cover yourself would be to have some snacks that are healthy. Don't have anything that you will be tempted to have that you know is not good for you, because you know you're going to be swapping one problem for another, is the way I see it. So you want to be prepared as part of your general meal plan. You want to be making sure that also you're having snacks that you know are good to have. And also when you're traveling, have something with you, a piece of fruit like a banana or apple is not that difficult to have in your bag or anything like that either. So I'd always highly recommend you have your snacks ready to go with you, and that would definitely keep hunger at bay. And I think in terms of lockdown, yeah, if you stick to your plan, your meal plan that you've created yourself, then you know. And a lot of the time as well, actually, what you find is you're not hungry, you're probably thirsty. Most of the time, you're not hungry. You're either thirsty or you're bored, and food is not entertainment. It's just not entertainment, is it? No, it's not. Food is fuel for the body, okay? And it should be treated as such. And yeah, that's pretty much snacks in a nutshell. The only other thing I wanted to touch on today was the fact that people also do snack because of stress, don't they? You're stressed, you want to snack. So, how are you dealing with your stress? I think during this lockdown as well, you want to be making sure you're addressing your stress. And in terms of stress, there's a couple of herbs that I personally have tried and tested myself that I think are absolutely amazing. These are adaptogens. They're herbs. I like herbs because they're gentle in the system. They don't drop you or pick you up. And ashwagandha as well as rhodiola. Those two are like my go-tos when it comes to stress. Deal with your stress, and then you're less likely to obviously, try and entertain yourself or make yourself feel better using a snack. But yeah, other than that, really, I just wanted to come on today and wrap up the week, because I don't think I'll be, yeah, no, I don't think, I know this is the last day today, as yeah, I'll probably be having a baby tomorrow or the day after. I don't know. So, just to reiterate, this has been the Health and Wellbeing Lockdown series. and we have covered to try and give you guys some tools that you can use immediately in relation to helping you survive this lockdown without compromising your health and your well-being. We talked about Henson tips for nutrition, for weight management, which is probably one of the biggest issues for most people during lockdown. We talked about nutrition for immunity during this lockdown because of this virus, and we're coming into winter season. And then, of course, most importantly, we did talk about nutrition for mental health, purely because everybody's either stressed, anxious, be it furlough, losing jobs, or just the anxiety of everything that's going on in relation to this pandemic. And of course, we mentioned about sticking to some really great habits to help support yourself. And then yesterday we talked about supplements on request of the nation. I gave you guys what you wanted. I gave you a list of supplements in relation to helping you with your health and well-being. So we talked about, for the guys and the ladies who are into fitness and things like that, I talked about workout supplements, from your creatines to your caffeines. Citrulline went down a treat, purely because with citrulline, it's getting that blood flow to the tissues. So therefore, for the guys, help you rise to the occasion as well. That's a bonus with that one. We talked about branch chain amino acids, glucosamine, chondroitin, collagen, hyaluronic acid, for making sure you're looking after your joints. And then we mentioned supplements for weight management. I talked about Garcinia, Cambodia, raspberry ketones. I talked about green coffee beans and coconut oil. And of course, I gave you guys my top 3 supplements. I mentioned how multivitamins, not always the best thing for you, because it's literally, a multivitamin is literally a shot in the dark. You actually don't even know what you're addressing. You're just hoping that you plug some sort of a gap. 1, you're actually paying for an expensive P, as far as I'm concerned. And 2, there's a danger of overtoxicity for a particular vitamin or mineral. If you're already high in something and then that multivitamin is providing that, you can see how, bam, you end up potentially creating some imbalances there. And then I mentioned my top 3 would be omega-3, pure fish oil, not cod liver oil, not cod liver oil. It doesn't have enough of what's called EPA and DHA, which is what's required for therapeutic purposes. And of course, benefits include being, for example, let's have a look who's live with us here. Ooh, I've been talking to myself, so actually, if somebody wants to chat, you're welcome to come along. If you're there, by all means, please come and join me. Come and join me. So yeah, I was talking about my 3 top supplements. Omega-3, you want to be making sure it's high in EPA, DHA. You want to be having your vitamin D3. D3, you want to be having it in drops, ideally. Liquid drops. I mentioned a few brands yesterday. I like Nature's Answer liquid drops. Really cost effective, works well. And then finally, I talked about probiotics. Probiotics are really amazing because they work on your gut health. Your gut health is actually linked to your mental health as well, remember? And when I'm talking about mental health here, those feel-good hormones all come through your gut. Not to mention, 70% of your immune system is actually found within your gut. Look after your gut will look after you, as I say. So that was supplements. Again, anybody who needs some recommendations, slide into my DMs and I will send some links to you. And then finally today, I just talked about snacks. I made a few recommendations as well as swaps in terms of go-tos for snacks, and also just understanding that during lockdown, snacking, there's appropriate reasons to snack and inappropriate reasons. And sometimes people be snacking because they're bored, not an appropriate reason. Snacking because you're feeling low, not appropriate reason. Snacking because you feel tired, not an appropriate reason, because you will pay for it later on, you see, is the problem. And so I gave some go-to snacks like boiled egg, handful of spinach with some balsamic, great snack. Sugar-free popcorn, not the toffee one. Get some popcorn kernels, make that stuff for yourself at home, amazing. Some natural yogurt, be it dairy-free or not, really great. Get some strawberries or some raspberries, crush them up into a little fruit compote, pop that in there, bam. Tiny squeeze of honey, works really well, cost-effective as well. Hummus, little tiny pots of hummus work absolutely amazing when it comes to being a snack, and they're quite versatile in that you can have them with cucumber, carrots, peas, whatever you like. Rice cakes, they're very, 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 very versatile snack. I find rice cakes, you stick with the one. You can have them, for example, rice cakes with some cream cheese, rice cakes with peanut butter. You could have them with pretty much about anything. Very versatile snack. And of course, any medium piece of fruit, if ever in doubt, works really amazing as a snack, is what I would be highly, highly recommending. And we mentioned, in terms of swaps, if you like dairy chocolate, for example, your Cadbury's and all of that, swap that. Have some dark chocolate, because then you're probably going to only have less. Couple of squares, because of that bitter taste kind of thing, it'll be more than enough to actually cover your satiety levels, I would say. Crisps, swap them for something like some popcorn. There's so many with snacks. Again, it's about finding your flavor, if you like, because some people like sweet, some people like sour, savory, sweet, savory. It's entirely up to you as an individual. But the key takeaways I would say when it comes to snacks is, first of all, you want to be sticking with 2 snacks a day, unless you're working out a lot, for example. Then maybe you might need that additional snack to compensate. And the reason why we say two is because you want to be having them either side of your breakfast and lunch and dinner. And snacks primarily to help you with satiety, tie you over to the next meal, not for entertainment, not to boost your feelings and things like that, because then you're going to end up in trouble with that, in all sincere honesty. Not everybody needs a snack. Of course they don't, but it definitely helps you to get into good habits. And for those trying to drop weight, the way I always explain it is, think about your body as a fire. If I was feeding 2 fires in front of me, one small piece is a kindling and another one I'm feeding a big piece of a log, which fire burns more effectively? The former, of course, because it's burning, more constantly, whereas the log take a while to heat up and then boom, and then no, you don't want that. You're going to be eating small and frequent when it comes to that sort of weight management. So actually, in terms of this snacking during lockdown, you can, provided you're doing it in a really structured way. Make sure you're meal planning and you're sticking with your plan, and you really can't go wrong. And just remember, a lot of the time, you're not hungry, you're bored, but you're probably thirsty. 9 times out of 10, you're thirsty. Have a pint of water, see what happens. You'll find actually, yeah, more than enough. You'll be absolutely fine. So that was really primarily the focus in terms of today, just answering everybody's questions regarding snacking. You have to understand your triggers as well, you see. Most of the time, if you don't know your triggers, how do you know the devil you're fighting if you don't even know your triggers? And then you're more likely to be prepared. If you know that your snacking is related to, I don't know, long day at work, for example, then make sure you're having sturdy meals in there planned to address that. If you know that when you feel low on certain days, make sure, if you know you tend to snack at that time of the month, make sure you're prepared for that in advance. And the best way I see it is, have a top 5 to 10 list of snacks. Get those as part of your shopping, so that that's all you can go to. Don't have cakes, don't have biscuits and things like that if you know you don't have that kind of discipline. Don't tempt yourself. Just don't do it. Only have snacks around you that you know will sustain you. And also, for those who may have been joining us in the latter part, food labels. Food labels are really key to understanding, because some of these snacks are dressed up like they're healthy, but actually they're really high in sugar. Because you think about some of these protein balls and things like that, they're made with date syrup and a lot of this kind of stuff, which of course that can be a bit of an issue when you really think about how much sugar you're potentially having there, you see. So when it comes to snacking, please make sure that you're reading the food label and you understand how much sugar is actually going on there. Yes, good evening, Jen, for joining us. I will be getting in touch with you, by the way. I only saw your message just before I came on live, so I will be getting in touch with you. But with food label reading as well, that can be a bit of a complicated game. There's an app I highly recommend. It's the Change for Life Food Scanner. Okay, Change for Life Food Scanner. That one, if you don't know, because a lot of foods don't actually have the traffic light system, basically. Traffic light system is great. We all know the colors, don't we? So it definitely helps to do that for you in terms of, you scan it, beep, it comes up for you straight away. It shows you exactly what's going on that food product, nice and easy. Last thing I want for you to be doing is, our CCO joined us online. He says he loves a bit of sugar. It's no surprise you like a bit of sugar, because the truth of the matter is, that is the body's, in terms of the brain, that's the brain's chosen source of fuel. So no wonder you're going to want a bit of sugar. But it's what type of sugar are we having? And a lot of snacks are very laid with sugar in. Let's play a game. Let's have a quiz. How many names for sugar do you know? How many names of sugar actually exist? Anybody? How many names for sugar do you know? How many names? How many names? How many names do you know for sugar? Any takers, any takers. Going once, going twice. There's about 92 names for sugar. Did you know? 92 names for sugar. When you're looking at the food labels and stuff, 92 names, and some of them you probably can't even pronounce. Things like molasses, all of that, those all count as names for sugar. Obviously, you got your fructose, glucose, galactose, all of those kind of names. But yeah, 92 names. So reading your food label when it comes to snacking is actually going to be quite a handy one as well if you want to make sure that you're staying within the limits. Traffic light system will be your friend, makes life easier. And as I said, even though some of these snacks tend to be high sugar, you want to be making sure that you're sticking to 150 calories or less. Because remember, I said anything more than that, it's now a small meal. What's Jen saying? Yes, sugar does definitely suppress the immune system. And also, for those who may be type 2 diabetic, you definitely need to be understanding your insulin. Understand insulin and how it works. That is what is responsible for those highs, lows. So we've got names for sugar, 2 or 3. 92 names. It's 92 names, if not more. There is. So yeah, with the sugar in your snacks, you really want to be watching that, especially if you're type 2 diabetic. But what you can also do is when you're having sugar or sugary snack, oh, you said 92. Now you're lying. You ain't no 92. I see you. I see you. When you're having a lot of some of these sugary snacks, what I would also recommend is you do macro coupling, if you like. So for example, if you have great example would be an apple and some peanut butter, because then that way you've actually balanced your macros, haven't you? The apple's providing your carbs, and then the peanut butter will be providing you with your fat and your protein. And what will happen is instead of the sugar spiking really high, that protein fat will couple up, and then you get more of a steady release. And also foods that are high in fiber, they're really great to help to regulate your blood sugar basically, because type 2 diabetes is absolutely reversible. I've helped so many people actually get their diabetes into remission. It was caused by lifestyle factors, so therefore change your lifestyle factors and you can actually reverse that, can't you? So anybody who may be type 2 diabetic out there, not all hope is lost. You don't have to be on medication forever. It's just about making a few dietary lifestyle changes and you can bring that back in check. And also for those who somebody mentioned, this is where this conversation started to go from. You said you love a bit of sugar. What I would also recommend is in terms of supplements for if you have a sweet tooth, if you like. Chromium is a really great one if you like supplements. Cinnamon, get some cinnamon. Get some cinnamon into your porridge, cinnamon into your smoothies, things like that. That also helps to regulate that sweet tooth, I would say. Chromium and cinnamon, really great for the sweet tooth. And I mentioned this yesterday for the ladies. If you find you have a sweet tooth around that time of the month, more times it's probably because you actually need magnesium. Oh, I'll have a bit of chocolate, babe, when it's that time. No, you don't. Sorry to disappoint. The truth of the matter is your body needs some magnesium, you see. Your body needs magnesium. And cacao is high in magnesium. That is what is used to make chocolate, isn't it? Random fact, did you know cacao was actually a currency in the Aztec times? It was. Hence, we give our loved ones a bit of chocolate and some roses now. Interesting fact for you there. I digress though. So yeah, ladies, get yourself some magnesium. Magnesium will do wonders. See, Jen knows about this. Magnesium will help you sleep better as well. If you're cramping up quite a lot, magnesium is a really great one for that. For those who are having cramps a lot of the time, get some spray for yourself. You can spray that, rub it into the muscles, so you're giving yourself a massage, and you're also topping up your magnesium. Personally, I love a magnesium salt bath. I should have brought a bag in actually. So I've been gifting all my loved ones a concoction I've made up. Himalayan pink salt infused in essential oil with actual real fruit extracts. Really great. So if anybody's interested in those, get at me. I will hook you up. But yeah, magnesium with magnesium salt bath or Himalayan pink salt bath with a few drops of lavender in there. You will sleep like a baby. And yeah, on sleep as well. Sleep hygiene is really important in terms of your health and your well-being during this lockdown. Sleep hygiene. I'm big on sleep hygiene. I did a corporate event for American Express Global. I talked about sleep hygiene. I'm so big on sleep hygiene. First and foremost, sleep. The bedroom is only for two things, right? for doing the business and going to sleep. Nothing else belongs in the bedroom, ladies and gentlemen. Watching TV on your phone and all of that. White light in the bedroom, really not good for you. Really, really not good for you. So you want to make sure that you've got good sleep routine. Nice ambient temperature when you're going to sleep, not too hot, not too cold, just enough to get you to. And also, you sleep in cycles. You see, yeah, definitely no TV, no TV. I even go so far as to actually put a sheet over the TV in my room. Yeah, that's how bad I am sometimes. Um, yeah, I would say also with sleep. Caffeine, like avoid caffeine before 2 o'clock, anytime after two, even because then that's going to start affecting your sleep. Also, what people don't realize is for those who may be struggling to drop weight, right? Sleep is actually related because if you're not getting enough sleep, that means your body is actually under a lot of stress. Stress increases what? The stress hormone, cortisol. Cortisol then impacts your insulin, and then you start to store more weight around the waist, the tire, basically. Really that simple. I know I should take that TV out, shouldn't I? I know. I blame my wife. It's not me. Mm, it's a little haven when she gets away from the kids and stuff. Just shut the door and then she watches the TV. Yeah. But sleep hygiene, honestly, it's a really, really, really important one because regardless of whether it's weight or not, in terms of keeping in line with the theme, lockdown health and well-being, take your sleep game seriously because now what people are doing is, I don't have to go to work, so I'll go to bed at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't do that. Try and stick to a normal routine, okay? Because then it has a knock-on impact on how you're eating the next day, and then we all know what's going to happen there. So sleep hygiene, really, really important. Remember as well, you actually sleep in cycles, did you know? I discovered this and I actually tried it out, right? This is about your REM sleep. You sleep in hour and a half cycles. And what happens is if you actually get them perfectly in sync in terms of, I don't know, go to bed at 10. Who's good at math? Help me out with my math so far. Go to bed at 10. And then every hour and a half is a cycle, cycle, cycle. What time would I be getting up? Say, is it 5 or 6:30 or etc. If you get those perfectly in sync, you'll be surprised. You actually wake up feeling so much better because waking up in between cycles actually can be a bit disorientating, you see. So my wife has just jumped in and she said I just blamed her for having TV in our room. Yeah, it's her fault. It's her fault. She likes to watch stuff when she goes to bed. It's not me. Mm-mm. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not my fault. Sorry, baby. It's not my fault. But yeah, you gotta sleep smarter. Jen's right about that one. Take your sleep game really seriously. Also, invest in some good bed linen. Like you'd be surprised. Good bed linen, a good mattress. You spend how much time in your bed? It's quite wise to make sure you invest in a decent mattress or decent linen, isn't it? Is what I would say. But yeah, so today is the last day of this lockdown health and well-being guide. My wife's trying to expose me here. Don't know what she's talking about. Outlander. Don't know what you're talking about. But please, any questions in relation to what you feel you may be struggling with in relation to lockdown health and well-being? As I said, this week, today is my last day of doing this. To start off in the week, we talked about nutrition for weight management. We talked about nutrition for immunity. We talked about nutrition for mental health. And then yesterday, I went through a whole bunch of supplements. Remember, top 3 supplement go-tos you want to be having in your house. Omega-3, high strength. You want to be having vitamin D drops, especially people of color. You want to be making sure that you're getting a good dose, 2,000 to 4,000 international units, IUs. And of course, a good probiotics. Optibac actually quite cost effective. If you don't like probiotics, go for the fermented foods. We talked about kefir, sauerkraut, kombucha. I love a bit of kombucha. Kombucha is a fermented tea. Got a tiny little fizz to it. If you're trying to kick the fizzy drinks, kombucha is a really great one as well for you to have. I would highly recommend. Vegans, vegetarians, kefir, sauerkraut, absolutely great. Zinc, yeah, zinc is actually a really great one as well in terms of immunity and all of that. Of course, your vitamin C's and things like that. The staples, the basics. But food should be your first go-to. Food is our medicine, isn't it? What is it? Hippocrates has said it. Let food be thy medicine, right? Really great advice there. Because did you know? Every pharmaceutical drug known to man has actually got a counterpart coming up from nature. For example, aspirin, white willow bark. So yeah, food is your medicine. Do we win any prizes for today? Well, my good man, my favorite uncle has been tuning in every day. Appreciate that. Do you get a prize? Well, speaking of prices, I'm gonna plug in a competition. So I've had a competition, basically for this whole month, whereby if you notice, got a little bit of a moustache going on here. You see, this is not my usual style. This is all in relation to Movember. Movember, we're going to be talking as men about, we're going to be talking about mental health, prostate cancers, things like that. So as part of Movember, the competition is if you take part, you join in, take a picture, send it in, showing me your lovely moustache, you will win a bronze package courtesy of the Nutri Guy. So that's the price that you get. And actually, really, today's price is a bunch of amazing knowledge that you got from me, right? That should be good enough, no? That's what I would recommend as the price for today. But yeah, other than that, listen, for all those who tuned in and joined in, you've been absolutely fabulous. I am here to serve. I'm here to help you guys. Please feel free to slide into my DMs. I'm more than happy to help in any way, shape, or form. Um, Health and well-being, lockdown, it's going to be paramount. We need to be resilient in these rather perilous times. Health is wealth, and wealth is health. Remember, people, is what I say. But this has been a great little mini masterclass. I look forward to probably doing more of these. I have a feeling that we'll have a baby in the house again in a few days, so I'll probably disappear for a couple of weeks, and then I'll be back with some more challenges. So anybody who wants to join me on my next challenge, you're more than welcome to. I'm open to ideas for a challenge. So I've done the fast. I'm sorry for guys who can't grow beards, but speaking of beards and supplements, actually, what I tried as well as that was castor oil. Believe it or not, my hairline was trying to run away from me. It's looking a bit better now, but castor oil is a really amazing one for trying to help, just induce that follicle growth, and iron and zinc really great as well for helping with hair growth. Ladies, I know you all want some really shiny, long hair and all of that stuff. B vitamins are really great for that, but a lot of the time, iron can actually help because you need that blood flow going to, feed the hair and all of that. So that can also be handy. But for some people, hey, it's just not in the genes. I can't really help. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, but so yeah, this has been the Lockdown Health and Wellbeing series, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. I will definitely be back to share some more stuff and ideas. Like I said, my inbox is always open. Slide into the DMs as long as it doesn't take me too much time. I'm more than happy to help share advice because nobody owns knowledge. It's supposed to be shared and given out. So I will do that to the best of my ability as much as I can. But other than that, I can only thank you all for joining me. My name is Genesis, aka the Nutri Guy. It's been a pleasure chatting to you guys all week. I've had fun. Thank you to all those who joined in and interacted and said something. I genuinely appreciate you all. It makes a big difference. It really does. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Other than that, I shall say thank you, bid you all farewell, and yeah, I will see you soon. Really, I should have some outro music now, shouldn't I? Bye.
Oh my gosh, yes, Genesis, loved it. I hope you didn't mind me interacting there. Loved all the information, loved the knowledge, loved the way they delivered the message. Absolutely fab. That's what I've got to say. And you know what? It's crazy how you touched on sleep, because I did a Wellness Wednesday talk yesterday about what? Sleep, about melatonin, about cortisol levels, about darkness, about temperature, about diet. Oh my gosh, I even mentioned like blue light glasses and why I'm using them now, not having the TV in, all of these things. And you touched on it. Like, thank you. That was great. I'm annoyed that I only just drink like this. And it's finished today? Oh
man. Oh, you're funny, Jen. Hey, Jen, how are you doing? Hey, listen, thank you for joining in. And yeah, most definitely, we love interaction. You know how it goes. It just helps to make sure that you're in the right direction, and positive feedback is always welcome. So thank you. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, listen, you can go back and watch the other ones. I've been on this all week, so yeah, you're more than welcome to check those out as well. And that's crazy, actually. How divine is that? The fact that you actually talked about sleep yesterday. Really passionate about that. But yeah, no, it's really great to connect, actually. I'll be interested to hear more about what you do and how I may be of assistance and support to whatever you do, because it sounds like you are into health and well-being. You're a practitioner yourself. What do you do? And it's Jen, right?
Please bear with me. Technology just hasn't been my friend the last few days.
Hello, mate.
Jake, that Bob, you alright?
I'm all good, mate.